What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Scrap Time. It's been a minute. We had New Year's, we had Christmas, we had the minor tournament. We wanted to do an episode last week, but everybody on the show is unavailable other than me, which is very tragic. But here we are. We are doing one. The online qualifiers for Major 1 are starting up again. We have a lot to talk about and ready to dive in on a fun episode to preview this upcoming week of matches. We have 2 more online weekends, and then we go, or at least I'm going to be heading off to Madrid after that. So as always, I am joined by my esteemed panel of co-hosts. Let's check in and see how they're doing. I'm going to start with Sam. Sam has been AFK for like 8 days. So, Sam, how has that been to unplug and not grind ranked in Marvel Worlds every day?
Just having the time of my life in Disney World. It was great. I went to watch Casey Pander, as you guys know him, run a fucking marathon. So that was cool.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he just raw dogged it. No training, nothing. Training.
No training?
No. Just
Wait, that's actually impressive.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
His wife runs it every year, and he told her that he was just going to do it just to prove that they could, and then he did it. It was the most typical thing I've ever seen in my life.
That's insane.
So we did that. Obviously went to all the parks, hung out. It was good getting away. That was all.
I didn't even know you went for Casey Pander. Shout out to Casey Pander, the GOAT, for doing a marathon.
Bro, he just straight raw dogged a marathon.
How dead was he
Never
afterwards?
seen anything like it. Crazy.
Was he absolutely one-shot chalked afterwards?
Yeah, no, we met. I didn't see him that day, but we saw him the second day after, and it took him like 5 seconds to sit down. Like his knees were just like, oh, okay. He said it was a leg day. It's like going to the leg day for like really, really hard. If you haven't been in the gym for a while, times like 1,000. Like if you did like the Rock's workout routine, and you just like never went to the gym. That's what he said it felt like.
Well, cool. I'm glad you're back. I'm sure your stream has missed you.
We'll get
to know what you missed when we get back. Chelly, you were also away last week. You were in the Bahamas hanging out. How was that?
It was good until flight got canceled home on Thursday because it decided to snow in Texas and had to extend multiple days. And there's a casino in the Bahamas, and casino plus multiple days that you're not supposed to be there equals cooked. So I was pretty much getting cooked the last couple of days, ready to come home. Honestly, I planned on getting back for the matches this last weekend. Didn't make it back until Saturday, so I only streamed Watch Party on Sunday. But glad to be back now. We got a full weekend of streams now. I know everyone's probably excited. It was all right.
There's some good money to be made this weekend. Cap, I know you've been around. You and I have been chatting for the last couple of days. Big matchup coming for the Eagles this weekend. How are you feeling about your Super Bowl chances?
Nervous. I'm always nervous. I just saw on Twitter it's supposed to be a snow game.
Ooh, really?
The Bills game's supposed to be a snow game too.
Oh, double snow game out of the 4. That's good.
Bills Ravens
games all suck.
Bill Ravens is absolute cinema. That is a cinematic show.
I don't want that in the snow.
Listen, I don't know if this is a bad take or not. Snow games fucking suck.
No, I kind of agree.
It's not a bad take. I like it.
The game quality of snow games is always horrible to watch. It's just cool because it's snowing.
I agree with everything. But I think against the Rams, snow should favor us with our play style. So I'm happy with it. But for the Bills-Ravens game, I hate that because I wanted to see that game in like perfect conditions.
But I will say, depending on how it plays, when it snows, it's very hard for these DBs to deal with like comeback routes and any like double or triple moves. So they end up potentially being, it could be an extreme unders game or extreme overs game. It's like never in the middle. So we should get at least one. I hope 1 of 4 is a snow game. 2 of 4 might be too much, though. I agree with you guys. 2 of 4 might be too much.
All I know is they're going to run the piss out of the ball if it's snowing in any playoff game. Even in the regular season, I remember James Cook had like 25 rush attempts that one game. And then Garendo, that was the game McCaffrey got hurt.
Yeah.
Garendo had like 25 rush attempts.
Bro, didn't James Cook have like 2 60-yard touchdowns in that game?
Yes, that game was crazy. Yeah. And Josh Allen threw a touchdown to himself.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, classic Josh Allen. That. Yeah, no, I'm excited for playoffs football this weekend. It clashes with COD, but the nice thing for COD this week is we only have 3 match days, so like the later day matchups. I think the Sunday one's at 8. I think it's like 3:38, right? The other 2 are like,
I thought it was 3:36.
Saturday is 4:38 and Sunday is 3 and 6:30.
Yeah.
So Saturday night one we should be able to watch after the flank, the second half of Washington Lions.
I'll be watching the games, brother.
No, I know you'll be watching.
No,
Are you
cap,
gonna be
gotta watch
watching?
God.
Hold on. Are you gonna watch Washington Lions with Adam though? Are you down to fucking subject yourself to that?
Probably, maybe a little bit. I don't know. Watching football with Adam is
It's tough.
difficult.
It's real tough. Our friend Adam is like a very passionate fan. Very passionate. And
he just calls everyone by their first name. He's like, I don't know. Nice Kirby. Kirby just got a He's like, nice one, Kirby. Or St. Brown's like, he's like, nice one, Saint. He calls Amon a St. Brown.
He calls him Saint. It's crazy.
I'm
I
like,
know.
dude, he's just so giddy. I'm like, shut the fuck up.
But listen, you guys have people were watching this pod. Our friend group, Adam is like the only Lions fan, but a bunch of the Jet fans in our friend group are now Lions fans because their team is horrific. And obviously Cap, Ian, a bunch of other people are Eagles fans, Eric. And like there is a clash coming here next week potentially within our friend group that could cause a lot of drama on our on the next couple episodes chat. Like some real shit could go down.
I'm rooting for the Commanders now. I would love to see the Commanders in the championship
Dude, if the
game.
Commanders win that, oh my god,
it'd be great.
I would love to see the Commanders.
There's not going to be a single punt in that game.
I fear the Lions are winning that, but it's all good. Let's stop talking sports. If you want to watch more sports talk, I'm sure we'll talk infinitely on our streams over the next couple of days. But I want to, before we get into matches for this week, I want to talk about the minor tournament that happened last week. We had a big 3-week break. Hacienda came in for Rewind, and then was added as a third map in the control map pool. So we had a couple of like new things on top of the new tournament format. And the minor one tournament was interesting. Every match was pretty close. We'll get to my thesis on that in a second, but it ended up with a Carolina versus Atlanta FaZe matchup in the finals in which FaZe was able to clutch. I'm going to start with you, Cap. Overall thoughts on the tournament. We'll just kind of a free flowing conversation, but off the rip, like what were your thoughts on the minor one tournament? Do you think it hit? Did it not hit?
I thought it was decent. I didn't really watch Saturday or Sunday because playoff football was on, so that took priority.
Damn.
But I don't know. I think you said it or tweeted about it, but it didn't really feel like anything like crazy, like must watch, like, majors and like big tournaments are like, I feel the need to watch those because they're big and like they tried to create something like with a little more appeal than league matches, but it did just kind of feel like league matches at the end of the day. So I don't know. Maybe that was just me, but that's how I felt. I didn't feel like it stood out too much.
What do you think, Chelly?
Yeah, I mean, it was nice kind of Saturday, Sunday having just the best teams playing. That kind of gave it more of a major vibe to it. But other than that, I don't like the single elim. I think that, especially for an online, there's a lot of variance. You don't want a single elim in an online tournament. But yeah, no, I did like Saturday, Sunday, how it kind of gave that major vibe where it's just like the championship Sunday and it's just all the best teams. And I'm pretty sure OpTic wore their whites. Like that was pretty cool. Gave that kind of vibe. But again, like single elim's crazy for online in my opinion. So
yeah, I get why it's happening because, if you do the math on the show days this year, you can see kind of a little bit of a wool finesse going on here by the CDL and EFG. I think if you were to go away if you go to say like a group stage single limb format, you're adding match days, you're adding multiple streams, and I don't think they have infinite budget they want to spend on that. But
they should just do extended series. Just make them best of 7 single limbs. If they're gonna do single limb, if that's what they're hard set to, I think they just do best of 7s.
Be better.
Yeah, I agree. I think that would be a good tweak for next year if they're running back something similar here. So, I will say I'm gonna pull up the overall bracket if people are curious because there were some upsets. I think Thieves is probably the most disappointing team in this tournament, but to be honest, they had like a big break and I think some visa situation with Paco that prevented them from getting enough practice for this one. But like
I think Paco had to go home early, like before Christmas, like before most teams stopped playing, and then he couldn't get back right away so they missed out on the extra practice on both ends, from what I heard.
I agree. Kelly, can you do me a favor? Can you turn on noise cancel on your Discord if you don't have it on already? Double check your audio settings.
Yeah, my mic picks up everything.
Yeah, it's all good. But I agree with you, Cap, because what happens when you get let's say you get you have to get your visa renewed. You still have to go to the consulate, the American consulate outside the country, and they've got to take your passport. They hold on to it for a couple of days, and they got to stamp it, and they come back and pick it up. So it's unfortunate timing for them because like they had some clear things they had to work on after the first 3 weeks, and Hossie coming in, not getting a lot of practice on Hossie. You look at the vetoes in that FaZe Thieves series, like they ended up getting FaZe Protocol Hardpoint, which we saw all weekend was a bread and butter for FaZe. They just kind of, I think it was always kind of a deck kind of stacked against Thieves in this one a little bit with their lack of practice. Not that I'd be too concerned if I'm a Thieves fan, right? It just is what it is.
Who would have thought FaZe is still good?
Real shocker, Cap. Real fucking shocker.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were getting roasted in our tier list for not putting them in like the FD area because we put them. I think we ended up putting them B or C.
Yeah.
And we were trying not to.
We had them in B, like by themselves in B, if I remember, or something like that.
They just looked especially in Respawn last weekend, the way that they were playing, the speed at which they were playing, especially the ARs, like that was more of an embrace of the mindset of this game. Like, and I'm sure Sam and Cab, you probably talked to a lot of pros and coaches. Like, this is a very dumbed down COD. It's a lot of flood and trade. It's a lot of speed. It's a lot of filling gaps. It's not as structured as the past. So, like, once FaZe kind of figured that out with their ability to use the movement and finesse and stay alive and get insane kills, like they were going to eventually figure this out.
Yeah, who knew when they started abusing their talent that they would be a better team? It's crazy.
Real shocker.
Crazy.
I think for me, the team that I really liked what I saw from this weekend is this Carolina team continues to be the real deal. Those guys look like, I'm not still convinced about Reese Vivid and the flex thing. That might be maybe something they need to address to get over the final hump this season. But those guys, their hardpoint let them down on Sunday a little bit against OpTic and FaZe. But their S&D is good, man. Those guys are like the second, you could argue maybe the best search team in the game. They're up there.
Wow.
I thought they were going to lose to Cloud9 because Cloud9 was up like 5-3 map 5.
Yeah.
Did Mac break? I didn't watch it, but I saw people saying that Mac had a clutchable opportunity in round 11. I don't know what happened.
I don't even remember.
Do you guys remember? Kid Ben, do you remember?
I can pull it up.
I think after the series was over, I saw Twitter saying like Mac like could have won the map or something involving him. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up for you guys so you can see it.
Yeah, I just remember they were up 5-3, and I was like, oh man.
Mac was in a 1v3.
Carolina take.
Okay.
This is
he was in a 1v3 and almost won it. Okay.
Oh,
nice job, Benja.
I'm bricking. Hold on, we're good.
Okay, so Mac was in the 1v3 and almost won it. Gotcha.
Yeah, because it comes down there. They're laying bomb. I mean, the problem is this map is just go cat and fucking planting by the post.
Yeah, this map sucks.
Yeah. You'll see. They're gonna retake. There's a fight top between Dylan and Austin, which I believe Austin does win. It does get to a point here.
Map 5?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is map 5. It actually gets to a point.
Carolina was up 5-3. I thought C9 was up 5-3.
No.
Yeah,
that's why I was mad confused. I don't think
it's maybe it's a different situation. I don't know. Maybe it was talking about the first map. Maybe.
No, it was the last map. It doesn't matter. I was just
whatever. Either way, I think Carolina is the real deal. The only thing with Carolina we'll talk about in a bit is their hardpoint was really bad on Sunday against OpTic and both FaZe, and it didn't really burn them too much in the OpTic series because they split the hardpoints, but they got swing bopped against FaZe in that last series. I was talking to Austin yesterday, like that's a big thing they're working on practice this week. He's just trying to clean up some stuff about hardpoint because they know teams are catching up to them a little bit, and they need to continue to address their map pool. So before we get to map previews, like any other final thoughts you guys have about the Minor 1 tournament?
Yeah, Benja, you're not addressing the elephant in that series, my guy.
Which one?
Sib on
the
Lamborghini.
snaking thing. I forgot about that. True.
Controversy. Yeah, apparently they only lost 1 day of scrims over.
So I kind of crashed out on stream earlier.
Let's go.
Because I saw a clip. So to give a recap, during that match in the first map on Hossie Hardpoint, there is a clip of a very blatant snake from Dante. Like if you go back and look at the clip,
man.
like it's bad. It is a clear as day snake.
It was bad.
Yeah. And so there's a lot of back and forth. And then later on that day, after Thieves had played FaZe and lost, Dan tweeted, I've started the vote for C9 to be blacklisted 1 week from pro scrims for snaking during their match today. Currently 6 of 11 teams have agreed, waiting on 5 others. The net on this is that there was a Breaking Point article a couple of days ago that the pros had, quote, like settled the punishment drama. C9 was only getting blacklisted 1 day of scrims, but that future offenses will be punished with a minimum of 3 days of pro scrims.
This stupidest shit I've ever seen in my life.
Expand.
Not only did they get 1 day, apparently they had already received previous warnings from scrims as well. Because Dante's been snaking in scrims. So then they get their warning in scrims. He goes into the match, snakes again, and then they get a 1 day pass. You know how, like, bro, what the fuck are we doing?
Just,
what are we doing?
Such a flawed system.
What are we doing?
Bro.
Like, you're not like discouraging the behavior at all.
What happens too is it's hard to like ban them from scrimming because what always happens is, well, 1, they could play AM teams, but 2, there's 12 CDL teams. So assuming it's a day where all 12 teams are playing, 1 team's banned, you have 11 teams playing. More often than not, that 12 teams like, all right, fuck it, we're just gonna play C9. Like rather than not practice or play an AM team ourselves. Like,
yeah.
So these attempts to enforce this shit is always just, it's just so difficult and so fugazi, and I don't know.
You want to know what's fugazi? Yeah.
No good way to do it.
So I saw a clip. I think OpTic did another episode of Game Time. You know, they do their little player podcast, and they got mad at Dan for that tweet. They said Dan shouldn't have publicly like shamed and tried to bully people into voting.
The OpTic players got mad at Dan? What was their logic?
They're saying that stuff should like remain private. But my response to that is they've done a bad job of doing stuff and it remains in private. Yeah, exactly. That was my argument.
The only way that the shit like that gets enforced is if the people know what's going on with transparency.
I agree. That was my point. That's why I crashed out like pretty bad on my fucking screen today. You're
getting a warning from scrims. It's happening in a match, and the players behind closed doors resolution to the situation is losing 1 day of practice.
Yeah,
okay,
I agree. It's my like response because there's other parts.
I'm staking everything. If I'm losing 1 day, I'm staking everything.
So like there was another. So like we were covering this on the Flank on Saturday, and we were getting an argument with Lamar. Lamar came in the call. I made the point that you're making, like this just is really dumb. Like the macro point is dumb. It's like in the NHL when someone gets fined like $5,000 for spearing. Like, well, that's not going to stop them from just poking someone in the fucking balls again. You know what I'm saying? Because they make millions. And then you know I got an argument with Lamar and he crashed out. And he apologized, whatever. But like, I agree with you. These guys have no ability to enforce themselves. So I'm just tired of talking about these situations every time it happens.
The only genuine enforcement that I think could. It would have to be on the league side of things. I don't think it could be a player enforced thing. It would have to be the league. So like it would have to be. I think Ken brought this up when the sniping thing was going on with GAs. I don't remember how, but he mentioned losing a veto as something instead of just like because if you leave it up to the players, it's just what Cap said. You end up penalizing another team inadvertently. So I think if there was true GA penalties, it would have to be something league related. I don't think that the teams could do it themselves.
The thing though, it's not the league rule; it's a GA. So it's
that's what I'm saying. I think it's a pipe dream anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But
I don't know. It's just a flawed situation.
Someone said
Dan's tweet. My bad. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're good. I was just gonna say someone said Dante tweeted out saying he's gonna snake every week. So I don't know.
That's good.
I don't know.
There you go.
Being dead last in KD in the league and snaking is fucking crazy. No offense to Dante, but like crazy hill to die on there.
Well, I'm sure this will happen in another situation again this year, so we'll talk about it when it comes up. But let's start talking about the matches we got coming up this week. I believe this week and next week, it is all 3 match days, which is nice because we've had 4 match days now for a minute. Those are an absolute grueler, especially on like Saturdays. And we have a couple of interesting matchups because a couple of these are rematches from last weekend. So that'll be kind of interesting we talk about. So we're going to start with the matches on Saturday. I'm going to pull them up on the screen for you guys right now. Actually, before we get in that real quick, let me show the standings real quick, just so you guys kind of understand the situation we have. I think this will kind of help kind of color some of this. The current standings that we have for the Major 1 qualifiers. Anyone with 4 wins is automatically qualified for winners bracket. Toronto, Thieves, and Carolina are in. OpTic's got. This is updated for Major 1 qualifier standings. Unfortunately, as I crashed out on Twitter earlier, this is not updated. Yeah, the actual standings, this is not updated correctly. Yeah. But this is.
Okay.
Carolina, Thieves, Toronto, 4 in. OpTic plays Vegas. They're going to win one of the next 3. They're basically in. Boston should be in. That's 5 spots.
Oh, so 4 wins period gets you.
Mathematically, I don't think it's possible for you to go 4-3 and not make winners bracket.
I mean, if it's
Okay. I don't think it's possible.
Like multiple 0-7 teams.
Yeah.
It'd have to be some insane sequence of events.
4 wins to not get you top 8.
Like, this is another whole nother side tangent, but like, I like that the minors exist, but the fact that FaZe won the minor and still have so much work to do is crazy to me.
You think that they should have had the points total apply to each stage?
I think the minor should just be a total points, in my opinion. I don't think it should just be towards champs. No. I feel like it should, if it needs to matter that much, I think it would help if the points that you earned through the minor went towards Major 1 as well. No, or
I think that makes it a little more interesting.
I think if you go out there and you perform and you win a minor and then you go back to another format afterwards where everything that you did was basically null and void, I think that's stupid as fuck.
Yeah, I just assumed that they would get.
No, it's only towards champs.
No, it's only towards champs. I think what you're getting towards, Sam, is like in my ideal format. Fuck league matches. We go back to pro points and a point system being the overall decider on seeding and other stuff throughout the year. And that would back what you're saying. When you have these online tournaments, it falls into that, and that kind of cascades throughout the season. And if you want to, reduce how those points affect at the end of the year, you can do like a points decay, which Halo does. But they kind of tried to back end this into their current system because there's only a minor during this one and a minor during Major 2. But it's just it is what it is. So I just a little funky right now.
If I was playing and I just won the minor and then I went back and realized that I'm still in a giant hole and I have to dig myself out of it, like in being in FaZe situation, obviously don't put yourself in that situation. But if you battle back as a team and you improve and you basically none of the work that you just did winning all those series mattered at all for your Major 1 placement, I think that's just completely ass backwards.
I agree. So just to finish that thought real quick, what I was saying, like,
yeah, sorry.
No, it's okay. That's a good tangent. We have Minnesota, Miami, Vancouver, Cloud9, FaZe, LAG, and Vegas fighting for 3 spots. I think we can probably remove LAG and Vegas at the moment from this. I think LAG I'm more likely to win out and maybe factor in the 3 and 4 combo. But you basically have 5 teams fighting for 3 spots, and they all kind of play each other over the next couple of weeks. So it'll be really interesting to see how a 3 and 4 situation backs in the last couple of seeds here.
I think Miami and Vancouver don't make it.
That's what I think so too.
That's my guess.
Yeah, I think so too.
Love that.
The same boat.
Well, they have a bunch of must wins, so we're gonna get into that right now. So go ahead.
I think you've got it, Ben.
So our first 3 matches that we are going to talk about are the Friday matches. We've got LAG versus Cloud9, Vegas versus OpTic Texas. That's a rematch from last weekend, and Minnesota versus Toronto, also a rematch from last weekend. I think the best match of these 3 and where we should probably start is that Minnesota Rocker versus Toronto Ultra match. I'm going to click through here. I'm also going to pull up the result from last weekend as well, in which these Minnesota guys continue to play these grueling game 5s, and this is no different from the past ones they've had. As you can see here from the numbers, Toronto took the first 2 maps but got reverse swept after they trolled a couple of rounds in that vault control. Namely, Jamie had a streak that he probably could have used in that 3rd map to maybe have closed out the 3-0. Instead, they gave Minnesota life, and those guys closed it out. I'm going to start with you, Chelly. You think Toronto Ultra, they're favored right now? You think they get the revenge against Minnesota, or you think it's another game 5 griller?
I mean, how can I not say this goes 5 at this point? I'm pretty sure the league tweeted out actually saying like we're gonna get a map 5 in this one, like guaranteed, which kind of makes me feel like we probably don't know, just because the league's kind of hoping that it goes 5. I love what I saw. What's up?
The league's rigged? Question mark.
Con Vegas shoes, bro.
I'm down to rig it.
Con Vegas shoes. Yeah, you really been watching too much NFL, brother.
But a lot of people actually had Rocker being like their dark horse in the minor, and I think they proved a lot of people right that they can compete with the best. Uh, I have this going 5 personally. When it gets to 5, Rockers had the ice, so I'm going to give the lead to Rocker. But I do think Toronto has something to prove after kind of dipping out early in the minor. With that being said, as like map vetoes come in and we get more data, like we can start to predict a little bit what the first hard point might be or some of these hard points might be. We're definitely seeing a protocol in this series.
Yeah, I
Both teams
agree.
have been pretty good in protocol. Toronto's auto vetoing red card. Rockers getting rid of Skyline most likely. We're probably going to get like a protocol vault in these two. So it'll be pretty cool to see these guys square off in protocol.
Great analysis, Chelly.
Thanks,
Sam, last weekend, Toronto's S&D, they got off to a hot start in search this season. The last week in S&D, it looked a little bit off. It was hard to tell from my perspective. That was just because Joe and Kleenex didn't have a great last 2 maps in that series. Do you have any concerns about Toronto's S&D? You think just this game and their style, they're going to be fine?
I think the way that they've been playing Search, granted I didn't watch the tournament, but they only played 1 series in it. The way that they looked throughout the first couple weeks, and I don't see them regressing to the point of concern through the break in Search. I would still have them probably top 2, top 3 Search team in the league right now. So I think that's always a good backbone. My question for this matchup was the respawns. Obviously I did not watch the tournament, so I'm kind of asking more questions than answering here. But how did the respawns look for Toronto? Would be my thing for this matchup. Like when they played Rocker the first time.
The first map was very close. It was like 250, 240 on protocol. It was like literally, I think start to finish. I can pull it up. I think start to finish, his map was very close. We've seen protocols get away from people, but you see, like this was never really more than just a one hill game.
So this was just like an ice up series, like it just split down the middle the whole time, and whoever made plays won kind of thing.
Well, no, because map 2 was a blowout. So Toronto blew them out.
Well, they
the second map.
slammed them.
Yeah, and then map 3 in the middle.
Was
here,
this a reset or was that the C9 series?
No, there were a lot of resets in this one. This was a reset situation, which I think
saw
also
people
complicated
say that the streak like shouldn't even factored in. I think, unless I'm misremembering, that like the Toronto was in like a very winnable situation prior to a reset in the control or something like that.
On a round, but not in like a 2-0 situation.
Okay.
Like it was at the end of a round. I think someone lagged out. It was already the round was already sold. And they had the streak and they could have used it. But yeah, this was a series that was marred by a couple of resets. But I think if you're a Toronto fan, like, I don't know how often in this series Joe and Kleenex are going to have a rough last 2 maps.
Yeah.
One of those guys usually going off.
I'm not even like anybody in the tournament other than the teams that I was already low on going into the tournament prior. Anybody losing a series in a best of or a one and done tournament, like my alarms aren't going absolutely crazy other than, again, to teams that I had concerns on prior, like Miami or Surge. But like Toronto losing a Rocker in a game 5 close series, like I'm not going to change my opinion on them as a whole for the most part. Same with like OpTic losing a Ravens game 5. Like I still think OpTic's great. It's not like breaking out over that kind of loss.
We're just seeing with this game right now that it's all this, and Minnesota is like number 1, Canada. A lot of series are just going 5 in this first stage. People are unsure about map pools. People are unsure about how to veto strategy. Your point, Chelly. So they're letting in potentially other teams good maps. And, map picks are important and people are going to 5. And we're really seeing like the gap at that point is like who's just better executing those searches at the end. They get an opportunity to close those searches.
How did Hasi factor in over the week?
In which game mode?
Both. Like was it in most of the series?
Control didn't get played at all. So no shocker there. Real shocker there. We saw it a bunch in Hardpoint. The maps were pretty close. It came down to what you would expect in Hasi and the same thing that was in the back in the day, Sam. The P2, P3 swing and the P5, P1, 2 swing of like controlling middle map, not scamming, and then on that P2, P3 rotation, like trying to not get yourself stuck in the back end of the P2.
Okay.
I'm
just curious.
I think the map plays good.
That stood out specifically in it. Like Hardpoint, I would say. Like anyone who
I think all the people used to like well, actually Minnesota looked really good on Hasi. They played it. Preston, you think Preston look good or bad on the map?
P-Dog dropped 12, I believe.
In a Hossie
good?
hard
Well,
point.
well, hold on. I mean, we can move to the next series, which is
Wow, my Preston properties aged like shit.
we can move to the next series, which is this. I'm LEG, bro. Like in Respawn, when you watch them play in Cab, I'm curious your thoughts. Bro, it seems like they're not all on the same page, right? When you watch them play, if everything just looks so awkward with them.
I just don't think they're that good.
They just suck?
like talent wise, I just don't think they're that talented.
This is another two sub series. Jesus.
Being accused by Kenny in the game chat of kill whoring, and I heard similar from another team who I won't name, but another team is saying, yeah, those guys are just kill whoring, like basically just playing for their own lives. Like, so I don't know.
Look good.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on in their camp, but I mean, it was basically all the concerns we had about that team to start the year. Like,
yeah, I feel like one person on that team in a Respawn is always getting slammed, and they just take turns getting slammed, like that one person, and it's just not a way to win the game. Obviously, we saw Preston on Hossie get absolutely bodied, and they still won the game. So in that case,
won the map with him having 12?
won the map 250, 230 on Hossie, and P-Dog dropped 12. It was crazy.
Okay.
Lynch dropped 36. So he was
their sub duo is not bad. Is that a bad take? I think that they've been keeping them afloat. Like they might not be the brightest in the world, but like talent wise, I feel like when you look at the scoreboard, it looks how it looked right there. Like you have Linz and Kiz kind of doing their thing, and then Caesar and Preston are just kind of getting slammed.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I think Caesar and Preston gotta.
I'm not saying they're playing
really
step it up, but like they're going positive at least. Like they're getting their ones.
It's just tough. They're combined 5 and 13 on hardpoint search, which is the bread and butter of COD. So like I don't know what to say. Like to your point, Cap, I think they're just. It might be a weird mix of players. You were concerned about it in the preseason. It probably is true now. They're in a real tough spot for this major. They're probably a losers bracket team. They may only get 10 or 20 points this cycle. Like they are a early change candidate in trying to figure this out. And the players on the team need to individually play better. Love Preston. We've talked about it time and time again on the show. He's got to play better individually. I think Caesar plays too slow. And yeah, I mean, they got to kind of catch up to everybody, but it's going to be tough to split, man. They got this match coming up here against C9, who is also desperate for wins and is playing better than them.
They're on the uptrend, right? C9?
Yeah, but they've lost to Carolina a couple of times in Game 5, so like they're grinding out a couple of these series, but the only teams they've beaten so far are Vancouver, who we'll get to in a bit. I don't know if they're good right now, and Minnesota. They actually beat them in Game 4, so that's a little bit of an accomplishment there.
Yeah, I remember seeing that series. I thought that was good from them.
For what it's worth, I pulled it up on my own when Ben J couldn't find the Mac clip or whatever.
Yeah.
T9 was up 5-3 on Carolina in the minor, Game 5. And then they lost it. So, like, I think they're on that uptrend. I think they look pretty good. I just didn't close out. I think if they close that series out and then, who they played next?
OpTic.
I would have been very curious to see that matchup because we haven't really, I don't know, since the server issues, we haven't really seen C9. Like, I haven't seen enough of a sample size. I want to see more. I want to see more against like the top teams.
Well, I think
they're trending up.
My concern with C9 is even in the minor tournament, like Dante's still just not a impact player in these series. Like looking at these numbers, it's an improvement from that first 3 weeks, but he's still
nice clean snakes.
Yeah, I mean he's snaking, which that's the whole thing. But we're still not seeing a takeover. Man.
I think he's just slow to figure this game out, which I mean obviously isn't ideal, but. He was a kind of a slow burn last year too. Like he started out well online, kind of tapered off midseason, right? And then he was like arguably the fucking best player in the game at the end. So I think he's just taking his time to find his footing. And I think if he not even returns to like what he was doing last year, more so just like a couple extra kills per map right now, I think that they can definitely contend. I'm not saying for championships, but beat the higher tier teams for sure. They don't need him to be a superstar, I don't think. The way that Mac and Kremp are already playing.
Yeah.
So I think if Dante just adds a couple kills, like I said, I think that they'll be in a lot better spot.
Just to circle back, because I want to get predictions. Like Minnesota, Toronto. Do you guys think you guys all on Toronto taking that?
Yeah, I'm taking Toronto again.
Minnesota I'd probably still take Toronto.
Minnesota just has these gritty, sloppy series that I feel like they just keep coming out on the right side of, but it's hard to do that forever. You know?
Reminds me of OpTic last
Yeah.
year.
What do you
They
think?
went on that like crazy Game 5 ice run, and then they couldn't win one.
What do you think, Chelly? And which Geo Astro you think is going off?
That's between Geo and Astro?
Yeah, that's a question everyone always has.
Why is only one or the other?
Yeah, pretty much.
Can they not coexist? That's an issue.
No, I think they coexist, but one's always getting slammed.
Shout out Nero. I mean, he's been one of the more consistent players on this team.
Yeah.
Dude, these teams in search are just. I mean, Toronto should have the edge, but every time we say that, Rocker always wins their controls. So, dude, I'm taking Rocker here. I don't know. I just think they pull it out, dude. I trust Nero with how consistent he's been, and I think I don't know. Jamie's been struggling in respawn. Do I say it? But we'll see.
The only thing I will say about Rocker is I'm just trying to think of protocol will probably end up in this series. And I have a concern when I watch Rocker play protocol that I feel like they struggle to get first bloods. And I'm actually looking up the number now, and they actually have only gotten 3 first bloods in 12 rounds in the map on offense. Smallest sample size beginning of the season, but it feels like they are kind of a little bit of a we only go A type team on that map. You know what I'm saying? They don't really do an effective top middle strat. They don't do other lane, other set piece type strats. So against a Toronto team that's been pretty effective on that map all off the early rip, that's going to be a key one for me in this series.
You don't think they veto protocol search?
Rocker? I'm trying to think what S&D's Rocker play. They played a lot of rewind, but that's gone. Yep. They've lost protocol a million times, so maybe because they played a bunch of Skyline, which Toronto hasn't played yet. The problem is Toronto. The problem is that Toronto also plays red card, and they have looked really good at red card. So that's a pick your poison situation for Rocker. What are they more comfortable on? So Yala A, Gates Fest that's protocol, or the slow grind mid round calls are key on red card type strategy. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like it's been a minute since Toronto's played red card search because everyone saw that they were good at the beginning of the year, and they were just like, okay, we're not playing on red card.
On red card for a minute.
They were running. They played it the last week of. They just didn't play it all this last weekend, but they played it. They played the second week of the stage. So
wait, Toronto hasn't lost an S&D yet.
No, they did.
They lost a game 5.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, they lost game 5.
Right.
Yeah, it just the Breaking Point website's fucked.
Bad time. Sad time for your first.
But that was a reset map. I don't know. It's the point the Minnesota Toronto series, and it's why the rematch will be interesting. Is that series had the scanner repair issues kind of big in the game right now, and that series had a lot of scanner repairs, at least 3. It was a 2-hour series to play 5 maps. So, and then to circle back on LAG C9, are you guys all on C9 winning?
Yeah, I'm in hell with my bar for LAG right now. To be honest with you,
are we?
Their roster change cannon, just like you said.
Are we taking advantage of a low Dante line and taking it over, or are we still just fade?
I mean, if
Chelly's on the fade. I've seen the head shake.
No, bro, don't do it. He is the second lowest hardpoint KD in the league, bro. It's just not worth putting your cash on right now.
It really isn't.
I think he's gonna have that breakout series at some point where we're like, okay, yeah, Dante's still very good, but I think it's hard to predict when it's going to happen, you know?
Yeah. When will Cooper Kupp get more than 2 targets? Find out next time.
Never again. He's cooked.
What map is Dante even good at, bro? I'm not trying to be rude, but when I say that, but actually though, what map are you like, oh, this is Sib's map, he's gonna fry.
He got off to a good start on Hossie Hardpoint. Didn't he start fucking 12-3 or 12-4 in that map?
He started snaking, and it was instant karma got his ass.
So I don't know. I think he's gonna have a pop-off series before this Madrid major, but they need him. They're going nowhere if he's dropping 0.9s in every series. So
agree.
OpTic Falcons is a run back last match. The second match on Friday is a run back from last weekend. Falcons almost won map 1 in that series. Exon dropped 50 plus kills, and it came down to the wire, but OpTic clutched.
How many times have we talked about Falcons almost winning a hard point?
Too many at this point. They've gotten so close yet so
this
far.
one was This
I mean, it was
one
245, 250 with 52 from Xnid, so it's about as close as he could get.
This one was like in the bag. Like this one should have been done.
I got to win that comfortably.
Vegas has obviously got 2 new players coming in, and they didn't play particularly well in the rematch, but I assume we all think this is a 3-0 angle.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Xnit is currently the top popular pick on Prospects right now for kills for map 1 because that he just dropped 52.
That is such bait.
What's his line?
The bit
Fuck?
27.
Such
He's
bait.
the most bet on right now, and
So much
I
bait.
will be fading that.
They are front baiting the fuck out of him.
I don't know, 27?
He just dropped 52, Cap.
Well, I think we're getting the same maps again because OpTic's not going to play red card. Well, so Vegas is definitely banning Hacienda. That is
So
for
you
facts.
think he's gonna? You think Chelly? You're fading him? You think he's gonna get half the kills he just got? I think he's gonna run it back.
Dude, I
Not
don't
52, but at least 30.
This was a 250, 242. Like, you're telling me OpTic isn't going to make the adjustments that a champ winning team does and absolutely destroy and dismantle this Vegas team?
The only problem, Chelly, is OpTic was higher seed and took Team B in this. This is now a coin flip. If Vegas wins, they will probably take Team A, and they will probably pick Skyline first map. So Skyline 28-29. You're still
that's
like nah.
OpTic's best. That's OpTic's best hard point.
It's just the only chance for Falcons because it's like you're not gonna play these guys on red card.
Yeah, let's play Shotzi on Skyline.
Because red card, OpTic could ban another map in here, and then red card gets left over. I think it's literally gonna be the same series with the vetoes.
Listen, I didn't watch, to be completely honest, because I was still in the Bahamas, but I don't need to watch to know that Xnit dropping 52 is definition of a fluke game. Definition of a fluke
Well, his
game.
teammates were also not. He was cleaning up a lot of kills. They were.
No,
it was a nuts situation.
He was pissing on people.
He dropped 52.
He was pissing. I watched that one because that was Friday. I'm pretty sure.
But like, Cap, what's changed that all of a sudden Xnit is dropping 52 in one respawn, and then in Control he's dropping 18? You know what I mean? Like, you'd think that.
Yeah, you can have a bad map, but he's still a good player.
Or was that just a really, really good map?
Can he have an incredible map and just be a good player? It goes both ways.
I don't know. I think you're expecting him
52 again.
You saw him have an unreal map play, and now you're just expecting him to be like below average. Whereas, like, I think because he switched from an AR to a sub, right? I don't want to sound stupid.
I don't know the rules.
I wasn't watching.
I think he was an AR with the previous. Well, he was running a sub against OpTic. I think he was an AR beforehand.
I just know that this, whatever map they play, it's not going to go 250, 242 on a hard point again with OpTic. It's there. I mean, it's Cav. I see your point. That it's not something that you want to fade right now, but I've seen this story one too many times where everyone gets really, really high on a player. Like, for example, Paco will drop like 50 and then everyone will be on his 30 and a half. And then they'll just blow a team out of the water and you won't even have a chance to get 30 and a half. So I don't know. I think OpTic should.
I don't think you're faded, Chelly, but like I said, the only problem with picks before you see maps is that the difference between this series and last weekend is that OpTic had Team ATB choice off the rip. They have to win a coin toss. And I was talking to JP earlier and they're 1-for-4 in coin tosses right now. So you could either bank that they're going to regress to the mean and win a coin toss, or they're going to continue losing. And then Vegas will definitely pick Team A because they want to win first fucking map. And I would assume that they're probably going to pick Skyline over Vault. Even though OpTic is very good at it, it's probably Vegas' still best chance to win. So I don't know. We'll see. We will revisit this one next week and see if Chelly was dead wrong or if he was actually speaking facts. Those are the matches on Friday. I think the Saturday set is kind of interesting. We're going to take a look at this set real quick. We got for Saturday. Start off the day with Vancouver versus Vegas.
I'm waking up late.
You're waking up late? That's cap. You're not going to
game one.
You're streaming in the morning. That's such bullshit out of you. I know
of course, but damn.
You're gonna be playing Rainplay with Cole or fucking auto locking.
Sam was gonna sleep until 5 p.m. that day. Actually, I don't know.
That's typical.
And we got Clyde in Miami and Boston, Carolina. Which you guys want to talk about first? These three.
Breach Ravens, the only good series of the day,
man. Do we like a potential Boston angle in this, or is this a Carolina Game 5?
I think this is pure Game 5. Whoever's got it.
I agree.
This is a great series, though. Boston's been playing good COD. And Ravens is an S tier team.
Carolina 3-1.
You're looking for a reaction there, but no one's gonna disagree with you. Carolina's definitely S tier. Okay. What'd you say, Cav? You said Carolina 3-1?
Carolina 3-1.
Okay.
Interesting.
I'm still not sold on Boston.
You sold on Carolina?
More so.
Yeah.
I'm sold on them being a second tier team, not S tier.
Ooh, why?
It's what I said. That Cloud9 series was like, the way I look at those series that go game 5 last round, like they're basically a tie. Like it's not really like one team's clearly better than the other. So I just think like if they had lost that series, we're looking at them completely different. Not like completely different. Like, I think we still think they're good, but like they wouldn't be in any S tier combo. So I just want to see like more convincing series rather than, the game 5 toss ups.
But my counter argument, just to argue with this, is every series went to game 5 last weekend. The only team that played convincing series was FaZe, and they won the whole thing.
I'm not sold on any team except FaZe and LAT still. What?
I guess that's fair. My one concern with Carolina is, as good as they've been grinding out these series, I'm still not convinced that Reese Vivid on an AR is their best play, and I fear that they may eventually.
You're on his ass, bro.
I am.
I feel like you've been on his ass every time we talk.
They're still playing good, but I watched them play, and I still think that like this is like an angle for me where I feel like if they replace Reese with someone like Encourage, who might have like a real raw takeover potential, that might get them into the S tier category.
Stallions propping right here.
Absolutely some Stallions propping, baby.
We're using our platform to push.
We're
absolute Stallions proppy, 100%.
We are throwing unbelievable propaganda.
Yeah,
we can't disrespect Reese.
By we, I mean Ben.
I mean, if they start losing these series, like then it's like okay, maybe we have to make a move. Maybe Reese isn't the answer, but like they are winning. Like you can't be calling for a man's head when they're
okay. To be clear,
by all metrics,
to be clear, I want to be clear what I'm saying. I am not calling for Reese to get dropped tomorrow because they are playing good right now. But they may be in a pack-a-punch situation here at some point after this major, the next major, of like, we are a good team, but how long do we want to wait if there's a potential upgrade out there that we think can take us to the level where we're like a legit championship contender?
Or you make that upgrade and it completely ruins your entire system.
It's always a trade-off.
Become dog shit.
Because Reese, in my mind, has looked great in hardpoint, actually, for them. What they're getting out of him on hardpoint is fine. His control has been good, too. The S&D has been very awkward, but I think a lot of ARs are getting kind of Kentucky fried and surge.
On his team. All 4 of them don't have to be the greatest surge player in the world.
But I think he's got the second lowest KD in S&D.
For 10 years, Ben. I was dog shit for all 10 of them.
He went off 12 in S&D, and
I was the best hardpoint player of all time. I was horrible at search. I still am. It doesn't matter. He doesn't have to be godlike at all 3 game modes for them to be a good team.
To defend Reese a little bit about this 0.7 in search, I think a lot of ARs have been getting cooked in fucking S&D because of how these maps play. Like your Vault or your protocols are bangouts. Like
I think ARs in this game are just getting cooked outside Dashy and Scrap.
Dan had some pop. Dan's had some good series. I will give
I mean, ARs have had some good series, but overall,
Austin's been pretty good.
Overall, when we talk about every team's standout players, it's mostly subs except for like Dashy and Scrap.
I will have to give, unfortunately, is
Flasher
absolutely trolls me on a daily basis, but I gotta give Cell some credit for last weekend as well.
Yeah, because he was playing Major 2 COD from last year.
He's actually fucking
moving. He was using his left joystick and he was using his talent and his weapon.
I still think their subs stood out. I don't know. I didn't watch those series actually. So I can't say that.
Tyler was frying all weekend.
Easy was frying.
Like Nissim was doing his thing, but like MC had some big maps for them, and I think just in general, ARS just got to get used to how this game gets played. But I'm not in a roster change situation right now with Carolina. I'm sure he'll get clipped, whatever. I think eventually they may be in a weird thing where it's like, if we're just kind of, floating around 4th every event and we feel like maybe we're being held back from getting to that finals, what do we want to do? But for now, I'm going to tip the Carolina boys. You guys are all on Carolina over Boston, correct? Game 5?
I'm going to stay on Carolina, but Boston winning this series would not shock me. Because I think Boston is also very good.
Right now on the betting markets, this isn't a pick 'em, but it's like Carolina's a very slight favorite right now.
Yeah,
I'm high on Boston as of right now as well.
We're gonna get a red card for sure, which is exciting always for me. But I want to say something about Reese real quick. He went from probably the biggest role switch, like from one of the most engagement players, heavy in Call of Duty history, honestly, to he's probably one of the slower ARs in the game right now, which is, I guess, how they need him. He's letting Liddy fry when he wants to, or Slasher, sorry, and I don't know. The search thing, I will say, is a little glaring. On paper, it's tough to not see the 0.7 and be like, that might be an issue. They are one of the best search teams in the game. But I will say, when they start losing searches and fingers start getting pointed, it's going to lead right back to Reese Vivid, and it's going to get into that conversation where it's like Ben J was saying, like, do we need to make the switch? In Hardpoint, I understand that it's working. He's playing slow and he's letting TJ fry and Slashers moving around the map. But when it comes to search, if they start losing, I promise you that finger is going to be heavily pointed at him.
I just don't see the catalyst for this team being Reese being good at search at all. That's not gonna
I don't
Reese being
think that
good
wrong.
at search and destroy is the dead last on the list of things that this team needs to win a championship. Like,
I think you're right. I think they need respawn consistency because the rest
they
of
need
these
to
always
be
going to
good
be
at
serviceable.
Hardpoint.
Yeah,
they have TJ, Gwyn, and Slasher. They are going to be good at search and destroy the entire season. They will have ups and downs, yes, but they're always going to be good at search. Their Hardpoint is going to make or break their team. And if Reese can go even, they will be fine.
I will say Reese's respawn this weekend wasn't good. So it was pretty. His respawn was very good in December, but I'm going through all the maps right now, and he's dropping.
It's what Chelly said. Chelly made a great point
Yeah.
about the role swap. He went from one of the highest engagement subs in the league to the polar opposite of his role over one offseason. Like, it takes time to acclimate to something like that. Like, it's like if I'd started playing like Tyler Beasy, I'm not doing that shit and doing it well right away when the game drops. It's going to take a lot of time, if ever, because I could probably never do that shit. Like, it's an adjustment period.
Damn, RIP fucking Subtame, bro.
It's what Chelly said. It's exactly.
All right, well, let's move on. We can argue more about Reese in the coming days. We got Vancouver, Vegas, and Cloud9 Miami. I want to talk Vancouver, Vegas. Do you guys see any angle here? Vancouver have not looked good. Booze has really been struggling, has been one of the more disappointing players this stage. Do you think maybe in somewhere on planet Earth there is a upset potential here for Vegas?
I think it's there for sure.
Is it an upset? I guess on paper.
It definitely is an upset.
I think both these teams stink.
They do both kind of suck. That's what I'm saying. This is like a big, like, Vancouver. Listen, not every team is going to go 4-0. And unfortunately, Vancouver, once again, like last year, look a little bit iffy in the beginning of the year. Although last year, in the beginning of last year, they got off to a hot start and then everybody started banging Terminal and then they started falling off. But in this one, right now, Vancouver is a big betting favorite in this one. But I think of all Vegas's like remaining schedule, I think this is the most winnable match they have left.
I think
who did Vancouver lose to over the weekend?
They lost to Minnesota, or just Cloud9. They lost to Cloud9.
Oh, how was it?
They got 3-0 stomps.
Okay.
And the S&D was close.
Okay, yeah, the S&D was close. Okay.
Vancouver's issue right now is like it's just all four of them not playing well. When that's the issue, it's not like one player needs to step up and they'll be fine. It's like
it's all four of them.
It's all four just getting smoked. Like they're just getting outplayed. Like it just feels so. And, maybe they're making progress in practice. Like I don't want to completely write them off, but like what we've seen, like they're just getting demolished, and like there's not a lot of hope from like the public. What we've seen. So I don't know. I think this is very winnable for the Falcons. I think their series against OpTic made me, we just talked about it, made me a big XNID believer. And I said it when I came on the flank, but I think their two new guys, Dahome and Wixel, I think is how you pronounce their tags. I think that's what Clay said. They looked like they were like just really off pace, and I think I don't even think it was talent. I think their pacing was off. Maybe it's nerves. Maybe
First pro match against OpTic is
whatever.
a tough draw.
Exactly, that's my point. But like, if they're better than what they were that match, which I sure as hell hope they are, because they were not good that match, this is a very winnable series.
Did Falcons address their role issues with the changes?
Yeah, they brought in more sub-oriented players, so it's not as bad now.
X's on a sub now.
Yeah.
Roxas was running an AR for sure, and then the other two I don't remember.
Okay.
There's also a vault hard point, so like people be picking up subs all the time, and then when they aren't, just running around subs just because there's so much flood trade going on that map. I think Vancouver, for me, they're all for playing bad. In particular, we identified that Abuza needed to continue playing at a high level. This year he has not done that in every game mode, and he's tweeted about online a bunch of shit. And 04 looked like didn't want to be harsh in 04 last year in Respawn because he was an SD kid. But you know, he has been not that consistent in the respawns this year either. So yeah, I just unless those two guys step up, because you're not really. I mean, Nasty's going to be and have pop-off series. He has those every so often. But Charlie's also not a takeover player, so they got to find it somewhere. Maybe this is where they get confidence. Maybe they will get a win here. Vancouver, I think remaining matches after this are Carolina and Minnesota. So like those are tough, but like if you somehow go through this and win 2 or 3, like you're going to start in losers bracket probably. I mean, maybe 3 and 4, depending on tiebreakers. Like maybe you can get some momentum at Madrid and you find a way to get top 6 and then pick it on from there. But I don't know.
Vancouver gets top 6?
Yeah, if they like get some momentum and they go to the event and win 2 series, like shit happens. We've seen it happen
before.
What
are they right now? They're 1 and 3 right now.
Yeah.
So they just go 2 and 1.
Maybe
Probably
make winners
still
bracket.
starting losers, maybe starting winners, and they would just win 2 more matches, and they just go on like a 4 out of 5 match win streak when we've seen no fucking pulse from this team.
I mean, it happens.
SEC is undefeated in hypothetical matchups, Cat.
Bro.
We've seen no pulse from this team, but if they just happen to win 4 of the next 5,
I mean, we've seen it before.
right
Nobody expected Minnesota to get top 4 if fucking Major 1 last year. Like sometimes one of these random teams just fucking figures out
they
the
have
event.
a terrible rest of the season.
Yeah, no, they played ass after that. But like,
okay,
at the beginning of the, no, but like, there's something to be said, and you guys are former players. Like, there's something to be said about the first event. You haven't got any reps in that LAN environment. The game could play slightly differently. The pace could be different, and it's a big race of adaptation. And of like, if you just get it going in that first series, like you can kind of carry some bad form coming in to back like into a decent placing. You kind of see my thought process.
You can always get
it's gonna happen. No,
you can always get like a few, lucky things go your way, a few lucky nades, whatever little shit goes your way. But like this team's been getting demolished, bro. Straight up.
I think like the first couple, the first couple weekend, or was it literally the first weekend? Like,
first weekend.
They looked
first
great.
weekend. Charlie had like.
Yeah, they looked fucking great. They
Charlie
took
was
game 5, round 11. Like,
yeah, Charlie played well. Not singling Charlie out, but he played well in both matches.
Yeah,
1.0 plus KD.
Plays. Like,
yeah, we're like, oh,
going positive.
Like, oh, okay, they're good. And then since then, it's just been a full-on disaster.
Yeah, maybe their practice has just been bad. I don't know.
I think the biggest issue with the Surge right now is that they don't have like a hard point that they're really, really good at. And I feel like even LAG, like they're ready to square up on Vault at any point, or like just these lower teams have a hard point that you pretty much know that they're going to pick. And I think Vancouver's issue right now is that they're just kind of testing out the map pool still until they realize like, okay, this is our best hard point. And I don't know what their scrims are like, to be completely honest. I haven't heard much about their scrims, but I just, they're confusing me with, they don't have a hard point right now that they're good at. They let Rewind in a couple times, and that seemed like they liked that. And I know everyone's focused on Thieves, but they were still losing those maps. Exactly. So I don't think they have a hard point that they're good at, and that's a major, major flaw.
It's a big week for Vancouver. It's a big week. They need to get moment. They need to get some kind of momentum into Madrid. Otherwise, they're in dead last territory. So
I think they're a first round exit.
Yeah,
if they end this stage like maybe one more win. Probably not, but like, and then last place of the tournament, I think they're definitely looking at roster changes.
I agree.
I mean, I think they beat Falcons personally, but I still like.
Well, if they lose to Falcons, is definitely a roster change conversation.
Beating Falcons for me is like you could have just not played the series still. Like again, no offense to them, but they just made a roster change. They're brand new to the league. Like any team beating Falcons, I'm going to have the same opinion before and after the series is over. Now, if you lose or struggle, then that's a different thing playing Falcons. But if you beat them, it's fucking whatever to me. Like again,
Falcons
no
could have
offense to
been up.
Falcons, it's not there. Like
Yeah, OpTic
Falcons could have
lost.
been up 2-0 on OpTic.
They could have won 16 other Skyline hardpoints too, but they fucking didn't.
Their time's coming, man.
They are getting one on the board.
That four series over for the year might be on the top.
At those odds that Ben showed, 5-1 odds.
It's worth it.
I think that's
four
worth
series, man.
Maybe I'm putting like too much stock in just Falcons looking decent versus OpTic, but like I don't know. The way I see it is like I think Xnid's the real deal. Like I started watching the mini map because for some reason he dropped 52 that first map and they weren't on his POV all that much. He was world starring. Like he was
front of hills type shit.
Yeah, he was just it was P3 on fucking Vault and he like killed one guy forward, like insta lay down drop shot the mid connector 2-piece. I'm just like that was fucking disgusting. That's shit that like good players do, and like even then they don't do it all the time. Maybe I'm putting too much stock into it, but like I really believe these guys have potential, and this is a great series to start showing it.
I just want to see them capitalize on advantages. That's the theme of their team, and they've had so many different situations in Respawn specifically where they do the obvious play, they will win the map, or they will win the engagement, or win the hill, whatever. And so many times they fuck it up.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's frustrating watching, but like they're putting themselves in great spots on the mini map and they just don't do it well. So that's what I want to see going forward for them. Like if you rotate to a money hill on a map and you have the easiest hold in the world, Skyline P4, and they walk through you time and time again. Like I just want to see Falcons progress as a team. Granted, they did just make a change, so kind of resetting a little bit there. But like that's what I want to see in the rest of these qualifiers from them before I start picking them to win the series.
Yeah, Clayster, figure it the fuck out, dude.
Yeah, Clay.
Yeah, man. Fucking hell, Clay.
All right, let's talk C9, Miami, Heretics. The big kind of thing I think hanging over this match and probably all of Miami's matches for a minute is that Super, well, Search, we'll get to that, but Super actually got his visa approved and he's heading to Dallas sometime here soon. So you got to think for probably lucky.
Dallas? Are they in Dallas?
Yeah, they're in Dallas now.
Jesus.
Because of internet issues, apparently.
Yeah,
what's the point of even having city base, man?
Oh, true. I'm tired talking about that. I'm tired. Just fucking all move to Dallas.
Everyone just fucking go to Texas, man. Get a nice Dallas, fucking Frisco, Texas land league.
Yep.
Yeah, I got good food in Frisco. They got like every chain on planet Earth is in Frisco. And hot pot and a 99 ranch market.
Every chain?
No, but like every even the most esoteric chains they have.
The
like
Applebee's,
not like the standard chains, like the esoteric chains.
And Chipotle,
they're just unironically use the word esoteric on a podcast.
The esoteric chains, like the low key chains.
I couldn't tell you what that meant if my life depended on it.
I mean, I lived in Frisco. We were in Frisco for 6 months. There's a lot going on there in Plano.
Benja, I live there right now, bro.
You're in Frisco?
Yeah, I'm in Frisco.
Let's go. Land League at Chelly's house.
Let's go. We're showing up to Chelly's. Rager at Chelly's.
The only thing I didn't like about Frisco is a lot of cops on side streets. Luckily, Crim 6 told me where all the cops hang out, so I had that advanced knowledge. I learned not to speak.
I'm so tight. I'm actually livid.
All right, now that I'm checking everybody, let's get back. Let's get back on COD.
Why were you hiding from the cops? Why'd you need to be on the lookout?
Because I don't listen. Like Crim was telling me when we moved there, he's like, bro, there are places you can speed and you won't get caught. But like,
bro, Ben has the most
because the roads are straight, bro. But it's
before talked about.
Of course, Crim knows that.
Yeah, no, that's a Porter thing. Like because we're in the same neighborhood as Porter, anyways. The whole.
There's nothing like a Ben J anecdote. Truly.
All right, but let's talk about it. Miami, Cloud9, potentially a big match for both teams as they are currently both 1-3. So you get on 4 losses, it's gonna be really tough. Obviously, we already talked about Cloud9 playing LAG the day before, so it's possible they come in there 2-3 and they win this. They might be 3-3 going in the last weekend. Miami's S&D, Sam, you alluded to it. It wasn't great either this last weekend.
They have 1 win, right?
Yeah, they are 1-7 in the game mode. Like, if you are Miami, what are you doing? You're just playing a lot of S&D8s? Like, what are you trying to do to try and get some
S&D8s and make sure that you're getting good best of whatever you play practice second set. That's all you can do.
The best of whatever's, man.
Yep.
A lot of people be falling asleep in those best of whatever.
It is very difficult to get quality search practice as a team.
You get to hour 6 of the day in scrims, you start
post-lunch.
Start sleeping a little bit.
As a former best of whatever enjoyer, it's very difficult to do that.
Whatever is crazy.
For the post-lunch best of 11s, man, fuck me. Shout out to Toronto for leaving when they won. That's great. And a little early.
They can drag. The series can fucking drag.
But no,
are people just taking big breaks in the middle for like fucking 20 minutes to like break down shit? Is that why? Yeah.
No, it's literally just S&D8s though. That's how you get better as a team at search. You become a better search player individually. That's all.
I mean, the stats around this Miami team are. I'm going to show you some of these because these are holy. Okay, Miami is 1-7 S&D. Currently, they win 34% of the rounds. Not ideal. They get first blood in 49%, which is actually not last in the league. It's actually in the middle. But they only win 52% of those rounds, which is like there's just the situational execution.
Wait, Breach wins 83% of their man ups. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's good.
That's nuts. Yeah, I mean, Miami suck ass at search.
Like it's they suck, but like the nuance of it is that they are getting 4v3s at a decent rate. 49 is still not good enough. You need to be in the 50s to win consistently in this mode. But you can make
49 should be dead average. They should be in the dead center of this fucking chart.
But if you're only converting half of those rounds, you played 8 maps and you've blown. Let's see. So they've gone first blood in 34. What's 34 minus 18 is
16.
16 divided by 8. So you're blowing 2 4v3s a map. I mean, that's a difference of a 6-4 right there. You know.
I mean, we watched them. I know it's a meme at this point. We bring it up every time we talk about Miami search, but that skyline against Boston was like just a culmination of their search and destroy woes. Like the way that they look on the minimap when they're man up, they look like they're shitting themselves. Like they look like how we played Asilo and MW2. Like we would get a blood and then we'd be like, oh my God, you guys, we have an advantage. Let's not fuck it up. And then in thinking to not fuck it up, they fuck it up. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, no, they gotta figure it out because I don't think that their respawn and their respawn map pool is that bad. I mean, the control, at least on Vault, is actually like pretty good. They still won that, or they lost one actually to FaZe, but it was still a close map. And their hardpoint map pool is actually pretty good. They haven't gotten a win on Protocol or Vault, but they're 0-4 combined on Protocol and Vault, but they're combined 5-0 on Rewind, Skyline, and Red Card. I know Rewind's out, but then we played that once. We don't know about their Hossie yet. It didn't come up in that series against FaZe, but I think it was in the set on Hardpoint. So, yeah, they win search. I think the Hardpoint map pool and control is good enough for them to start winning some series. But their remaining 3 matches to split are. This is why I think they might be getting last. Cloud9, LA Thieves, Carolina. Like, do you think they can win this Cloud9 matchup and get 1 on the board, or are they going on 3 here and sitting at 1-6?
I think C9, like I said earlier, is on the uptrend. I think I need to see Miami win search and destroy before I make any judgments on them as a team. I'm going to comfortably pick C9 to beat them.
Yeah.
And
I think that's an 0-3.
I think
that's an 0-3 schedule. Maybe they sneak 1, but even if you sneak 1, they're still going to end up in losers.
I think it's an 0-3, but
Ravens.
You can. I mean, Chelly, you can fade Miami if you want to do betting stuff, but you could also be like the map 2 angle on Rencor Rail. Actually, I think it's hit decently this year, right? On the 6.5 7s.
Yeah. I mean, why is Miami tweeting that shit about Super, bro? Like, isn't that gonna mess with some of the players? Like, I don't know. Like Sam and Cap.
Look.
He's the Super thing about him.
Just like that, his visa got approved, and he's on his way to Dallas.
They
I know
he's shit last year. Like they like it can be used as a motivator, but also it like if I'm on the team and I know that my replacement is just waiting for me to fuck up, like at the same time, depending on what kind of player you are, like that can fuck you up. Like they did the same thing last year with Journey. Like they struggled early season and immediately made that change. Like it was instant. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that Super is on this roster before the major. If they lose to C9
before the major, wow.
I could, bro. If Super is in the States before the major, I could see him being on the team.
Yeah, I could
maybe.
see.
I mean, he's supposedly
if they continue the way that they've been playing right now, I could see him.
I gotta message him and find out if he's coming this week or next week. I assume like he's either moving before this event because there's no challengers, so he has lag time in that week off. like after the event, or to your point, like, is he moving there after the major? Because
If
we really
he's
are
post major and they bomb, I guarantee he's on first announcement is that he's on the team.
That sucks, bro. He's in Spain. He's gonna come to Dallas. He's gonna go fly back to Spain for the event and then come back to Dallas.
Yeah, that's kind of
about that.
yeah, because he's got to go because he's a sub. Unless they have somebody else.
Okay, if he's doing that, then I would assume that he's probably gonna wait and then fly.
That is a lot of travel if you got to do that.
I'll find out. I'll talk to him and I'll find out. But anyway.
If they bomb out of the major, though, guarantee he's on his team post major one.
That actually is a tell. If he says he's coming to the States before the major, I would assume he's gonna end up being on the team.
That's exactly.
That flight back, Jesus.
Yeah, otherwise it's like, yo, just let me wait till after the event. Like
exactly.
If they don't win a game this weekend,
this is the only one they have. They have 2 next week.
Oh, they're just playing one game?
Yeah, they have 1 this week. Yeah. Some teams have 1 this week, 2 next week. Some have 2 this week, 1 next week.
Okay, this might be a bad question, but is Super playing challengers right now? And is he on a good team in Europe?
Question from you.
I'm gonna go check right now because the elite EU elite's going on right now. His team got. Let's see. So he's teaming with Aspect, Cobra, and Brezzy. And they are in playoffs. They're in playoffs right now because they're 4-1. They're playing out the bracket right now. I don't know how winners round 1 went, but they're still in the midst of that. So that will go on through next week. So I would assume they're not going to want to forfeit that because it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So
that's why I was curious. I'd assume they want to finish that out then.
Yeah, so he'll probably be post major one.
Yeah, I think that's a good call. So I don't think that's a now decision. So
yeah,
he'll be with them in Madrid because they need him for IT checks and blah blah blah. But and also because first event this season, end of January, the league does all their content capture. You got to do 59 photo shoots and interviews, but
hero shots.
All right, well, we're all on C9. None of us are picking Miami. So let's move on. I think this Sunday schedule is actually pretty good. I think this has got some real spice, and it's going to make for some good double screen action if you also got the football up, too. Let's take a look at these matches. We start off with LAG versus Toronto. Okay, maybe not that one. But the other 2 are good. Thieves and OpTic and Minnesota FaZe. Want to start with Thieves and OpTic. People want to see this. I got to say... There's some spice right now in this matchup. There's been an exchange of a lot of words in the last week and a half, and I was telling people low key over the break, like, I'm like, did this this one and the words that could be said maybe after this series? I think there's going to be some because I guess there's going to be some vitriol. I think going to this major.
The Reddit comments are going to be good in that thread.
Gonna be good.
Someone's going to be eating.
Let's go game mode by game mode right now in this one. Hard point. Who would you favor, Thieves or OpTic or Push? I might say Push, honestly. It's kind of 50-50.
Say Thieves right now. Other than Skyline, I think Thieves would have the advantage.
OpTic's hard point was B to B plus last weekend, though. I actually think the red card's still a problem.
I think it's LAT, but it is a close LAT because they could just have like a Shotsy Dashy map and win. But I think overall team play, I would go LAT right now.
I just wanted to say this. Bruce is the best player in the game right now.
Oh, right? No, absolutely, without a doubt.
And yeah, I remember what I said at the first episode. So
I tweeted it. Yeah, that facts. I tweeted over the weekend, dude. Bruce is unequivocally my MVP right now. He is fucking disgusting.
I mean, it's just you take a look at these stats right now for Brandon, I mean, he's doing, respawn takeover maps, S&D clutching every chow I see him in, and actual matches. Like,
this game is straight gunny, bro.
This is what perfect game for him, bro.
Squares, and that's all Bruce Scott did.
This is why I'm not too concerned about Ken's individual performance, because the level of Brandon and Ant's playing at right now, what they're getting from Kyler.
Minutes about the stupid shit I've been reading for the last week.
Yeah, it's like, well, we're forgetting that Ken dropped 11 last map for them to win a series last weekend. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're fine. I agree. Maybe I see your wisdom, Sam, that you think, like, maybe the edge is a little bit Thieves on the hard point, although
I think team, like, play and the actual mode of how, like, they fucking look as a unit of 4, I like LAT. But that being said, Ant and Bruce could just drop 40 each on a vault, and they could just win.
Or a Skyline. I'm just trying to think what maps we would get in this series. Thieves?
Red card potentially. I would say probably red card.
Well, red card,
right?
red card hard point.
Yes.
I don't think OpTic's gonna play them on red card. I think OpTic's banning red card. I think Thieves. The question for me on Thieves is Hossie. How comfortable on it right now? Because otherwise, I am probably getting Protocol out of there, and I'd probably play OpTic on Skyline Vault combo, which is risky to your point.
I think it's gonna be a boring map combo.
Yeah, it's very risky. But I did the Hossie wild card in this one. I just don't know what Thieves because they were clearly not comfortable on it last weekend.
I'm pretty sure OpTic really like Hossie, just from like scrim results.
Yeah.
And general sentiment that I've been seeing, I'm pretty sure OpTic are fairly comfortable on the map, so I wouldn't be shocked if it wasn't in the series.
They looked good on it in scrims. The Hossies that they played, though, I think they lost. The hard points came close, and they lost to around 11 S&D, I think, to Carolina, or was it 6-4 where Slasher got an ace in the last round because everybody just hit middle hard counter. Yeah. OpTic's gonna be keen to play Hossie. It just comes down to Thieves on the hard point set. But yeah, I'm looking through it now. It could definitely be a boring set. The one wild card with Thieves and the vetoes is that Thieves have only played Skyline and Vault S&D all year. They finally got their first Skyline loss. I don't like their search.
I don't like their search at all. I think OpTic's a comfortable favorite for me in S&D.
You want to know why? Go ahead.
Their first bloods are shit.
Yeah, it's really bad.
It's like,
you want to know number?
What, 42 or something percent?
39.29% now.
Jesus Christ.
They got slammed in the first bloods by FaZe.
Okay, I saw a stat on Reddit over the weekend that it was low, but that is like
it's
unbelievably bad. It's just it's Pokeball. It's if he's not on, they're not getting bloods. That's all.
They haven't been getting blood since the start though. This number has not moved.
I wonder, there's probably not a stat out there, but just like first blood opening duel win percentage, because like I guarantee it was low as fuck. He dies first almost every time, and if he's not getting bloods, they're insta 4v3.
Player leaderboard search.
I'm curious on his win percentage, because like Dill isn't exactly a get a blood kind of player. Scrap's more of like a territorial fucking I'm gonna go to my one spot and wait for my gunfight S&D player, and yeah, it's just Dan's kind of the same. So
Dan's not.
So their team right now, I'm gonna show it to you on screen. So the person with the highest on their team is where was it? It was Scrap. Scrap is in the 20s. Yeah, 21. He's at 54%.
What's Paco?
Dan's somewhere in the middle here. Well, the problem is if we scroll to the bottom, both these players are 46 and 47. So
thank you.
So this is the concern that I had.
I didn't even know the actual stat. I knew it was ass.
I don't know.
That's their subs too.
Their subs.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
and again,
that is their search right there.
They have only played Vault bang out maps, Skyline bang out maps. They've not played Red Card, which is a little bit slower. They haven't played Protocol, which you can bang out, or you can play a little bit slower, and they haven't played Hossie. So there's a couple of styles that we haven't seen there from them yet. But someone I was hanging out with made a point that they felt like Paco and Dylan Envoy kind of play a little bit similar in S&D, and that there's a bit of a role issue going on here that they're going to have to address long term. You guys agree with that? Disagree with that in terms of the routes they want to take on it?
I think it's the opposite.
You think they play too different?
Together. I think they're not playing together at all. Like the fact that Paco is dying with no trade most of the time shows me that he is just like trying to do some individual shit at the opening of a round to just like hope that it works. Like if him and Dill were working the map together, and if they had similar play styles and ideas, I feel like that these rounds would be going a little bit better with trades and first bloods and all that kind of shit. I feel like watching specifically Vault, it just seems like Paco's dead in the first 20 seconds of every round. Like, and if he's on, then he'll obviously he's winning the fights, but them having a 39% first blood rate kind of tells me that he's just trying to make a play by himself.
Sam, you punked me. You punked me in the offseason. I said that I was concerned about the Thieves search.
I said that was their only avenue for being bad. Well, not bad, but that was the only chink in their armor was their S&D.
Yeah, it's just I don't know if they're gonna figure out the split. They got to expand the map pool. They got two things. They got to expand the map pool. Can't play only Vault and Skyline going into Major 1. That's a disaster waiting to happen inevitably when you can't play one of those maps in a 5-game series. And the second thing is that their subs got to be a little bit more impactful. I just think though, like I'm gonna make a prediction with the Steve's team. I think this. They don't solve this before the major. They're gonna get third because of this, and it's gonna be a catalyst for them really putting a lot of search work going into the Dallas event because it's their. You look at the other top teams, Carolina and FaZe in particular, and Toronto are all elite S&D teams. OpTic when they're on with Kyler, by the way, their search looks pretty good. They won 7 in a row before they lost one last weekend.
Kyler's been gross for them at search. And Ant's obviously disgusting.
And the thing I like about Kyler on their team, if you've noticed, is that Ant's not running the bomb full time on that team. Kyler's taking the bomb a lot sometimes. They're really sharing the wealth. No, they do it. I know in this game it doesn't necessarily matter as much because some of the maps that you play are kind of bang out maps. So whoever has the bomb, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not that important. They're not slow rounds. But I think for Thieves, this is, as good as their respawn is and was great the first 3 weeks, they got to clean up the search. And then control.
Like for years, my bad, but for years now, the Shotzi Hugh duo and search is just like, they're just always doing something together.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what you're saying about Paco and Dill. Like they're not really doing that. They're kind of separate, but those two guys for OpTic, they're always going to go together.
It looks like how OpTic was playing last year with Pred and Shotzi, like on high rise specifically, how we criticized the way the Ant was playing. That's what LAT looks like right now. Like Paco will just be dying by himself and like Dill's in a corner across the map. Like they just got to get on the same page and run around together, working the map together. And I think that if they left their 2 ARs on islands to, do whatever they want to do, make late round plays, then I think that that's their recipe for success. But right now they're just too staggered. They're too alone in search.
The Pokeball is a strat that you can execute a lot. I think OpTic and FaZe have shown you the Abizi and Shotzi Pokeball can lead to round wins, but you got to have other looks. You got to have other ways to play on. And
you have to be very
offense.
good at your man downs in the situations that does not be working.
And threes, your threes.
But to answer your S&D question, I think OpTic is favored for sure. Specifically in search.
And then control, I think OpTic. Look at the stats right now in control. I know that Thieves have played a couple of protocols now. Did
OpTic play protocol over the weekend?
They did, I think, and lost it, right?
They lose it?
3-0'd by breach.
Yeah, they got slammed.
Oh. Interesting. Okay.
Well, I don't think we're going to see a Hasi control this weekend, guys, and we haven't talked about that yet. But the map is so bad, bro. I think
terrible.
teams are not willing to try until maybe the last week when
at least
they're
protocol's in. At least we're seeing protocol. That's fine with me.
But I'm thinking,
we got another one.
I'm thinking in the controls, this one might be a push because OpTic's protocol didn't look that good. And maybe depending on how the coin flip goes, Thieves is banned Vault, and then OpTic have to pick protocol. But OpTic's Vault is very good. I mean, I think Shotzi might be the best player in the world on that map. And Vault control. That guy gets an automatic 2 every time he's alive. He's just so annoying on defense. This guy just gets out, gets pressure mid-door, pinches them on the P3 straight. Like, he's just always is active, just getting those annoying cutoff kills before there's any actual pressure on the rest of his team.
I don't know who's going to win this, dude. I'm so excited for the series, but I have no fucking clue who's going to win it.
I think it's going to be a round 11 Kyler Ace Masterclass to win.
Kyler Ace round 11.
Incredible prediction.
Wow.
I'm just trying to toss a plus 5,000 out there, and just if it hits, then great. If not, so be it. We tried. What do you guys think?
I got Thieves in 4.
Ooh,
both hard points.
Control and both hard points. Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so there's a search.
All the respawns.
Gotta see the map set. I think it's genuinely too close right now. I think just the S&D for LAT is just such a glaring weakness for me, and the way that Kyler has added that search prowess to OpTic, you really can't count them out of any series against FaZe or LAT right now. So I think I would have to see the maps, which I hope it's not a boring Vault Skyline series. I'm gonna be so pissed if it is.
The only way it's not a Vault Skyline series if Thieves is willing to play Hasi, because I think it could get protocol control, but
yeah.
Wait, why are you counting out red card, Benjay? I'm confused.
OpTic, they're 0-3 or 0-4 on red card.
The Carolina map they played on red card sums up their issues. They don't play efficiently on that map.
They haven't won in a match yet. I don't think.
Every time they play that map, and I watch them scrim it goes to time. I watch an egregious 150 to 160 map they played on that. I was like, what am I watching?
Yeah, well, I don't know why they don't get hill.
It's very easy to get caught up in the blender on that map of just spawn killing and not being productive, it seems like.
I think one thing is P1, if you can't get hedges control, or if the other team is getting hedges control, they're just denying hill time constant on you because those doors are open. They're just shooting you. But to Sam's point, then the P5, no one can get in hill because we're just spawning up and just flooding.
Yeah.
Camera flooding out the ticket. Yeah. Sometimes the P2 becomes a flood contest fest because they're spawning so close in the back and you're never getting a 3 dead. And it's there's a lot of ways that time gets ticked off on that. I think OpTic stage hill on that is actually pretty good. They're very good at breaking in. That's actually, I've noticed that they're good at hill, but the other hills, especially P1s, they're not as good at. So I just think with how Thieves looked on that prior to the break on that map, I think if you're OpTic, you just get out. If you want to try and get more red car reps, you do it against somebody else. But I think if you're OpTic, I would try to hope him think that Thieves want to play Hossie. I think because OpTic's got just some more time on it, but I don't know if Thieves is going to oblige him on that. I don't really know how those guys think. Yeah,
I don't think that we see Hossie. That's why I think that your hunch was correct with the Skyline Vault. But
I'm going to say no Hossie hardpoint, but I think Hossie S&D gets in. That'll be my prediction.
I agree. I think Hossie Search will be in. I think Hossie Search is probably going to be in most series, to be honest with you. I think it's a new map, and no one like is good or bad enough to like warrant a crazy veto or anything like that. So I wouldn't be shocked if it was in most series.
It doesn't play too bad. It seems like
I just fucking hate that closed hallway, dude.
The new one they added?
Such a bad addition.
Yeah.
There's like a wall bang for the bomb.
From the hall. Yeah. It's
bad. People are playing it so cringe now because they're not even like in a ones or like a 2-2. They play the bottom of the stairs and they just sound whore it. They're not even sitting up there in the close hallway.
That
like
hallway sucks.
They're sitting out so they can flood back through and like go arches. Like, yeah, no. But S&D kind of plays, it's interesting. Like the way Search plays, we've seen effectively the bottom middle rush can be really good on that map, but you can kind of counter it with the full top hallway and stuns. I think one thing that kind of hurts that map is the water being kind of ineffective in this game.
Yeah.
You can't really escape Rock Hill by going in the water because you just instantly murk somebody. I think Kyler tried it in a one against Austin. Austin got a freebie because of it. I think if I remember correctly, but I'm excited for this one. I think we're probably we all said. I think we're on OpTic probably. Is that what we said? Or Sam said maps there, right?
I'll probably go OpTic.
I want Thieves.
Thinking Thieves on Chelly's side. Thinking Thieves. Okay. Well, while Sam figures out the sound in his background, let's talk Minnesota Atlanta. It's the last match of the weekend. Rematch from last weekend. FaZe took the first series 3-1. The only map, it was a game 5. Apologies. The maps that Minnesota took in that series, they won a Vault Control and they took a 6-4 Vault S&D. Both hardpoints were pretty close, but last map Protocol was a blowout on FaZe. What do you think, Cap? Do you think another Minnesota just forced a game 5 and FaZe clutch up situation?
No, I think FaZe is just. I think they've maybe not figured it out fully, but I think they're good. They figured out whatever the issue was, and I think they're going to take care of business. I think Minnesota. We said earlier, they're just every game they play is just like sloppy, gritty to the wire. It feels like. I think it's a team like FaZe. If FaZe really does have it figured out, and shut that shit down and just take care of business. I think it is funny that this is the series when we were doing the tier list that I use as the example for Chelly on if he would like to bet on Minnesota. If he would like to bet on Minnesota against FaZe. So now that we're here.
Chelly, even money.
Wait, what did I say? I forget. Didn't I say Minnesota?
You said you think you would take Minnesota. I was like, all right, let's put even money down. And you were like, we'll see when we get there.
That was if they played today. I remember you said that. Not if they played in the minor in the grand final, or in the, you know what I mean?
But it was about like it was about like how good you think the teams are going to be when we come back.
I have to watch the clip.
Atlanta FaZe minus 400 favorites right now. Rocker.
It's so fitting.
Yeah, it's like, wow, a team practiced and was talented and figured it out.
Back-to-back years, they used the break very well. It's crazy.
It's funny because I was talking to them and like even at the front end of that break, like it took them a while through that break to really get to the way they wanted to play. It was really the back end of the 3 weeks when they really started like playing on the same page. Their hard point right now, bro, is dude.
They didn't do here. There were like people have all the accounts tweeting the scrim stats against AM teams. They're like splitting maps, losing maps to the AM teams.
Yeah.
You want to see some interesting stats? Right now, Atlanta FaZe, best rotation team in the league. Barely, but 60% now through the 4 match weeks you've had. Break percentage is low. They are playing a lot of protocol, so that is not, especially the P3s, and they've also been rotating and winning a lot of P2s, P3s. The P4 is not the easiest cell to break.
Do not be rotating.
But whole percentage could be a little bit better.
What's roto percentage defined by? Just like who wins the first 10 seconds?
Yeah, I think so. 10 or 50 seconds.
But
But
I've always had an issue with that stat because logically, if you rotate to a hill, hold a 60, it's damn near impossible to have roto to the next hill.
Turtle said it's most points in the first 15 seconds.
Yeah. So Brandon, former LAT GM, used to do it for like our back end stats, and it was the first 10 seconds. So same concept. But what I'm saying, I always had an issue with that because, like I said, if you hold the hill, you can't. Like, you physically cannot have roto to the next hill. So I don't put much stock in that. I mean, Ultra's number's terrible, though. You got to figure it out because how do you, like, they're at 1 out of 3 hills first. That's terrible. But in general, I just think it's kind of flawed.
One thing I think that is probably now reflected here that I saw a lot from FaZe last weekend, they were very good on the front end of hills. They were great in the middle of hills, not like really making major mistakes, and then getting ahead. Like they were just constantly like getting the first 40 or the first 30, maybe leaving the last 15 on board, but they were then getting the next 30, and then like you just kind of keep piling on when you're front running a team like that. And you know, they have traditionally sometimes struggled to rotate, and then they just kind of rely on hills to break or their skill to break. But like when they play this way, and then you have space because you're holding for, you know, your subs to make insane plays and push out. Like this is the best version of the type of hardpoint you like to see them play. Like they were gunning people in protocol by the end of the weekend. So, and their skyline looked pretty good. We didn't see them play Vault, I think, on the weekend. We didn't see them play Vault. They had that one red card. That first map against Miami last weekend was pretty bad. They got slammed on that red card. But I don't know. Something happened after Chris got that 1v4. So maybe I just
the catalyst.
It was the catalyst. So
those stats by 20 seconds of the hill are interesting, though.
Yeah, Turtle's in my chat. He can kind of explain that one.
Yeah, I get it. I'm just saying, like Ultra doesn't rotate. They don't win the start of a hill, but their break percentage isn't even that great. But they're great in the last 40 seconds of every hill.
Well, what maps are they playing?
They're just banging scrap time, I guess.
Just hitting scrap.
They're hitting scrap
their
on
break
protocol.
percentage is not that great.
Where are they? Where is this coming from? 2-1 rotation percentage. It's really the protocol. The rotation percentage is not good because they're breaking and getting a lot of holds on Skyline, which kind of makes sense. And the rotation percentage is bad on Vault.
Those are real good numbers with Skyline.
But they're holding. Yeah. I mean that to be fair to your point, is not a sustainable number. You're gonna get a terrible win percentage if you're at 37 all year.
Yeah.
Thank God they're good at search.
True. So going in this, does anyone in on the Minnesota Rocker upset in this one, or are we all FaZe 3-1, 3-2?
FaZe 3-1. FaZe 3-1.
I think the only thing
FaZe 3-0.
No, I can't pick a 3-0. Their control, the Vault control has still looked iffy for them. They lost the protocol. So I think the control is still a work in progress. But if you're a FaZe fan, I think they're back to regular service. They just got to play clean. They only got one match this weekend. They got Boston and Cloud9 next weekend. So
good weekend.
They're playing some good teams. Ideally, you want to win these next two and you go in that C9 match. And depending on how results factor in that one, I'm trying to see. That is the middle of the day match on Sunday of the last week. So they'll know if they're already in or if they need to win to get in and the tiebreaker type shit there.
Yeah, this is a big weekend for Rocker, honestly. They're out Ultra and then FaZe is their 2 matches. Like that's tough, man. You gotta think they split that, right? No way they drop 0-2.
I mean, that's what sucks about the minors. They had good wins in the minor, and it just didn't fucking matter for their major 1 seeding. And then you go back to like playing the completely separate format, and they have like one of the hardest schedules. Like it's so ass backwards.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's why round robin's the best, because then everybody plays everybody, and you can maybe complain about the order it happens, but if you lost everybody, you lost everybody. Everybody had the same schedule. So
yeah.
Well, I kind of assumed it was like the NBA tournaments, like the in-season tournaments they do, where it still counts to your record, like your overall record.
It's literally only champs points. It has nothing to do with the current qualifiers.
Oh, I'm pissed.
Yeah, that's pretty. It's a band-aid over a bigger issue that we'll save.
Chelly was living in blissful ignorance.
Let's talk about the final match.
Up with Spinner Spence.
Yeah, bring up with Spinner Spence. He's not
I'll
here.
go bitch to him. He loves
exactly.
it.
Events are costing me in cap consistently in FIFA, but it's all good. LAG, I know that's a stray. LAG and
Spence is better than you at FIFA, but
interesting. LAG Toronto. Girls 0-4, Toronto 4-0.
Slammage.
This on paper, first match on Sunday should be a Toronto blowout, but does anyone think this could be another LAG Game 5 heartbreaker?
Now that we think this is an LAG Game 5 round 11 loss.
Like, I was setting up for that. Like, Toronto has a couple of times now. There was what series was it before the break that they let someone almost win? It was Miami, Toronto? Right? Yeah, Toronto. It was Miami. They almost got reverse swept by Miami, and they blew them out last map.
Yeah. They also almost lost to Vancouver in like the opening weekend.
Yeah, it's a little bit thing to watch with Toronto. They've been going up 2-0. They're having a little bit of the Thieves problem. They're going up 2-0 and then from last year, not closing out that third map and letting a team back in. So this should be an angle against a team that they have more skill, more firepower in. They should be able to close out, but
3-1 Toronto.
Yeah.
All right, now the more fun question: who makes the first roster change after these qualifiers? After Major 1?
LAG.
I don't think we see one before. I think after. I think Vancouver, Miami, LAG, all looking at changes.
I think they already are.
The problem with changes right now.
I just don't think they're going to do it before the major.
The problem with doing it before the major, the elite ends on next Thursday. Roster lock for the major is in the following Monday. There's just no, and roster lock for the previous week is also on the following Monday. So there's no window to make it, if you're picking up players in the elite, which is virtually everybody other than, say, ASIM's team, there's no window to do it until basically the Monday before the major. Like, are you going to chance it in that situation?
Like 3 days.
Just be like honeymoon, just like, well, if you're losing
elite team, fuck them.
If you're a losers bracket team, you get well, the problem is for this event is people are flying out Sunday night. A bunch of teams are, because they're worried about the jet lag, a couple of them fucked up Saudi last year and were miserable all week because they didn't handle jet lag correctly. A bunch of teams are flying out, from what I understand, Sunday night. A bunch of teams, most people are flying out Monday to arrive Tuesday morning. So, like, I don't think anyone's really scrimming on Monday. So the only practice you're getting is Wednesday if you're playing Thursday and Thursday if you're playing Friday.
And scrims are hard because it's the first major, like you said, with all the media and shit, which actually is important.
And setups are not going to work. There's going to be power issues.
Correct.
Like, Wednesday scrims are always awful in the first event.
Correct.
So
that shit always happens.
Especially in a European venue. You're going to turn on 86 PCs in one room and their fucking building is going to explode.
Well, okay. So, like, I'll give you an example. Like, so sometimes it's funny venue problems. Like, the Toronto event, the first time we went to the Toronto building, I don't know if you probably remember, Sam, like, everybody had power issues that first day because that building is so old. The power map they had was just completely incorrect.
What I'm saying, bro. You're going to fucking Madrid, bro.
They apologized to us because they were like, bro, the power map they gave was like totally wrong.
There's gonna be more electricity running through that building than the rest of the city combined, dude. It's gonna be crazy.
It is a nice venue. I have a call with them tomorrow because we're doing this thing with Breaking Point. I'm curious how they're laying it out because it actually looks pretty sick. It's a tennis center, and I'm curious if they're doing like a one side stage setup or they're doing like an end around the tennis center. But I'm curious then like where the PPAs are gonna be, because all the other activation space all like outdoors and shit. So. Yeah, but first roster change is probably like LAG. You guys probably LAG or someone like Vancouver after the major, like literally Sunday night. Sunday night, someone's not getting back on the plane.
That bar is about to be
leave
popping.
him in Madrid.
No,
let him have a little vacation.
You say the bar, but I talk to everybody and everybody's staying at different. The problem with events now is back in the day where you used to stay at the same hotel.
Yeah,
because
you dropped like a man. You'd go to that bar, you'd honey dick other teams, and you'd. It's a fucking great process.
It's really fun because MLG used to book all the rooms.
Be hammered shit talking his roster in the corner, trying to fucking honeypot people. It'd be great.
Yeah, my bad, Seth. But yeah, no. Back in the day, like MLG used to book all the hotel rooms for the players, and then the teams were just booking the same hotel.
Right.
But like I've been
CWL, I think.
CWL even during the MLG years before CWL, that's how they did it.
Yeah.
But like now, I was like trying to figure out where because me and Gersh are going to the event. Like, where are we going to stay? And I asked every team, and everybody's staying in a different spot. And Madrid's not a small city, and everybody's in, like, different parts of the city. So it's like, well, I don't know what to do now. There's no, like, one hot spot. So
it's just definitely less Sunday night drunken roster mania happening, and it's just a good pastime. God, that should be brought back.
When you're on
But
when you're on a secure roster, there's nothing better than getting hammered at the bar on Sunday night.
Winning the tournament and just like
You're just walking in, yo,
stirring the
congrats,
pot.
bro, you're gross.
Stirring the pot with like every other team's issues.
Dude, everyone's absolutely blasted, just ranting about the weekend. You won the tournament. You're just walking through.
Everyone got costed.
Just doped out.
You could talk to one guy. He's talking about how he got costed, and then 5 steps to the left, his teammates talk about how he got costed.
My favorite story is the one story was UMG Dallas when these are both AW stories. UMG Dallas, Krim tried to convince me because his team, they got slammed by FaZe at that event. He's like, Ben, I'll pay you money to record Clay's VOD and Clay scrims all the time. Like, well, how much you want? $1,000, $1,200. I'm like, bro, stop, Porter, stop. The other story from the event prior at fucking X Games, Austin is like Ian's team, like the FaZe guys got eliminated, I think on Sunday. Denial, like Cap, your team obviously got eliminated earlier in the tournament. And like you guys were basically at that point, like probably breaking up. And Clay dragged me in a conversation at Buffalo Billiards like mid-Sunday with him and Ian about like 5 shots in, trying to like vouch for like, those two groups of players fucking merging together.
Oh yeah.
So
that's
how it fucking starts, boys. That's how it starts.
Starts in the bar.
Sunday night or Saturday night bar conversations. Don't get them anymore though.
The group text gets made on Monday.
We might get them. Dallas events. Well, if it's back at the same spot, you might get them. Miami probably not because everybody stayed in a different spot. I don't know where Major 4 is. Champs in Toronto. Well, actually, Toronto. Everybody mostly stayed at the same hotels in Toronto.
Yeah, everyone's at that.
We're not. Don't leak it.
Whatever. Doesn't matter.
Don't leak the spot, bro. It's a good hotel.
There's a million people.
Whatever.
It doesn't fucking matter.
There are a lot of fans. There are a lot of fans at the hotel.
A million fucking people in that hotel.
A lot of fans. And then Saudi. Well, everybody's at the same hotel in Saudi, but you can't drink there, so fuck that up. I'm trying to think if there's anything else you want to cover. I mean, it's been a pretty good pod. Chelly, people always ask us, are there any, I know we don't have maps yet, are there any plays you're circling right now? Any lines you see on Prize Picks you think people should be hammering at the moment?
I mean, I think that anything Bruce could be on my radar. I think Bruce S&D is probably my favorite right now at 7.
Delegate.
Again, the map 1 last week between OpTic and the Falcons was a lot closer than a lot of people predicted, which when it does go that far, like pretty much everyone's hitting their lines. But I don't see it going that far. I think OpTic makes the changes that they need to, and they come ready for Falcons in this new roster. So I think that search is gonna be probably the closest of the 3 maps that we see in that series. So I'll be on Brucey's search for sure.
It's so funny that your take from the first episode to now, dude.
I can't so bad, bro.
It's
completely slipped my mind until you brought it up on this episode. I didn't even remember.
Hey, good man though, admitting when he's wrong, and
I respect
now we're on the other end of it.
His hill time hasn't really changed either. He's just shooting the straightest I've ever seen anyone shoot in any game ever.
But so, the amount of maps they went scrims yesterday because Brandon got like a 4 or 5 spray at the end of the map on these like close maps where they're just grinding it out was insane. Like he's playing at a different level right now. Enjoy it, OpTic fans, because I think it's
insane how good him and are. Like him and Shotzi are probably top 2 MVP candidates for me right now on the same team is fucking insane. They're
diabolical
so
duo. Diabolical duo, and to think they dropped him a year and a half ago. That's I want to wrap because people are asking this question in chat, and this will be the last topic. People are asking about this Vegas Falcons league thing. I'm gonna show the announcement. It's coming later today. It'll probably be.
What the fuck is that?
So, we were in a call last night. We were watching the Kason stuff and some scrims. I think this is an 8s league.
Oh, that'd be cool.
That's what my prediction is. Based on what Clay was saying, it sounded like this is like an 8s multi-regional thing.
Is it like I'm trying. How do I phrase?
Like Elo Discord bot
kind of thing? Like if you just want to like sign up for it with your team kind of thing, or
no? It's like the BPL last year. It's like FPL and FaZe.
Like an Elo system and shit?
Yeah, Elo system, Discord, shit like that. I think this is a good play. I know BP's wanted to do it, but maybe they're doing it with BP. I don't know, but BP talking to Austin, it was about a funding issue. Obviously Vegas
That'd be
Falcons
great
have
for
no
breaking
shortage of
point if they
money.
could do that.
Yeah, I don't know if BP's assisting or if this is a solo thing for Vegas, but I'm pretty
If
sure
they
that's
get
what
a
this
good
is.
enough prize
Chat.
pool, that shit could pop for sure.
I may or may not know how much the prize pool is. And
Also, isn't Call of Duty
it's good
great?
funds.
If the orgs aren't supporting the scene, then it dies. Isn't that fucking sick?
Well, you saw the case on shit, right?
Is the case on shit? Fucking the Falcons owner offering to fund the first Challengers event.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about that.
Like, can we? Never mind. That's a whole. That's
Wait, what was the case on
another
shit?
2 hour SND8 last night.
Did a SND8. It was pretty good. It was good content.
Yeah,
he was instigating. I know Kason wants to run this back like every week. I think 250. I was talking to some pros. 250 is a little steep for some people that may want to play this, but I think they're going to try and see if they can get staked by someone and maybe just have a guaranteed prize pool. But I think this is good.
Yeah.
This Kason's always trying his hardest to get people content, and this is a W play.
Kason's the man.
The matches were pretty fun last night.
Kason is the man.
And yeah, the Vegas Falcons Challengers thing. We didn't even talk about the whole OpTic Challengers thing, but
That's a whole different episode.
Yeah, it's a whole nother episode. I'm gonna try and check in with OpTic and see what the status of that is because we have a Major 2 combo coming up with them soon. But yeah,
You should be able to pay $250 extra and have Kason spawn in on your team for a round.
Lord.
Ooh, that'd be a good angle.
Spikes it up.
5v4.
Well, I don't know. It depends how you look at it. Kason spawning in, but
4.5v4.
Something like
Okay,
that.
guys, I have a scrim update. Miami is currently up 5-2 on OpTic
Ooh,
in scrims.
on scrims.
knockout?
I'm not going
Okay.
to switch my entire prop from Miami. They're not making roster.
Oh shit. Okay, well I think
might make another roster
I think
change.
on that note, since our chats probably want to peep that, now the optics down. We appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, you can check this out on my YouTube, youtube.com @BenJ8Nissim. I'll follow all of us on socials. I mean, JCap, Octane, Chelly. Wait, what's your fucking ex?
Shell God.
Shell God.
Yo,
You wanna see
fuck
the
Jalen
plays?
McMillan, Chelly.
No, McMillan cost it hard. McMillan cost it hard. No, you actually made him crash out. He's gone. He's gone. He lost, bro. He literally lost him so much money last weekend. But that'll do it, guys.
Hey, I didn't even see it.
Oh, it's bad. It's bad. We'll talk about it after the show. It's bad.
bitch.
It's bad. We appreciate y'all locking in. We'll see you guys on the next episode next week. Peace.